Hey, I'm Llytic.
I'm Tom.
I'm Lil Fuck. I'm from Kansas.
Cool. Our first guest star. Hashtag little fuck.
Yeah, well, beggars can't be choosers.
Dreamers don't come true. What? Don't worry about it.
Oh, boy.
And what are we reading?
Yep, we're reading My Inner Life. Quickly becoming my most hated thing.
We're going to break Tom.
No, you're not going to break me. I refuse to be broken.
Like he was a Slim Jim. We're going to break into Tom.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd
Pretty
like that,
hot.
wouldn't you?
Oh, you know it, baby.
Save some for me.
All right. I'll start us off here. It was the day of our wedding, and I had been nervous all day long.
Hell
The
yeah.
time to walk down the aisle drew near,
Island, yay.
and I felt a rush of nervousness run through me. Like the Flash, there was now a gaping hole in my body from where it went through. But I was not going to let that stop my wedding day. I was in the bridal chamber with Impa and Princess Zelda, as Impa and Princess Zelda worked on my hair. Yes, because the princess would totally be doing your fucking hair for you.
That's what handmaids are for.
I stared down at my dress, fingering with the lacy design at my waist.
Oh, boy.
All that I said about when you could tell it when she was typing one-handed.
Yeah, well. All right. My line, I guess.
Yep.
The dress was the most beautiful and the most expensive I had ever seen because cost totally matters when it comes to stuff like that. The king had spared no expense when he had it made. Well, neither did the owner of Jurassic Park, and see how that turned out.
My boy, spare no expense.
The top of the dress was a low V-cut with lace that crisscrossed in front of my breasts to hold them up. Okay! And a feathery lace design lined the edges. Interwoven in the lace was an intricate design of pearls, and at the very center was a gold Triforce design.
Despite the fact that I was a merchant.
The lace design V at the waist and a different lace pattern started twice where the other left off. What? This is getting to my immortal confusion
Not quite
grammar.
yet, no.
With pink fishnets
Oh, God.
made out of leather.
They were also black.
Despite being pink.
The other
Fishnets
pattern-
should be black.
The other pattern was all of the Triforce design. Smaller gold Triforce symbols lined the bottom of the dress.
No, they did not.
The sleeves were a see-through lace that ran from mid-arm and attached to my middle finger.
Ooh.
My veil had a full pearl design at the front, and small, solid white Triforce designs lines the edges. After I was fully dressed, all that was left to do was finish my hair because, yeah.
Can I read the next one?
Yeah,
Oh,
go
boy.
for it.
Go ahead.
Impa stopped working on my hair and let Zelda finish it. She walked over to a table and picked something up. It was a monster dildo. She fucked me with it because this is fan fiction. When she came back over, she handed me a gold choker that had a Triforce charm with a diamond dangling in the center. I just got stuck.
Yeah, no.
I looked up at an Impa while I fingered it. It was very beautiful. I started to say something, but Impa interrupted me. Stupid bitch. It will look beautiful on you. You're jealous. She took it and Sheikah, how do you say?
And the Sheikah.
And the Sheikah smiled as she fastened it around my neck. Then I smiled back at her. Thank you, Impa. It's very beautiful. I'm getting married.
Just as Princess Zelda said she was done with my hair, I walked over to the mirror and to take a look.
It's in a book. Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow.
That was a good show. Stop marring it.
Well, this was a good game, but she's doing the same thing to that. What are we doing to Reading Rainbow?
She's also apparently marring Link according to the previous chapter.
Well, some people are into that, so
True.
The sides of my hair were done into a halo braid. The back of my hair was done up into 4 smaller braids that looped up and attached to the back of the halo braid. Fuck. The silverly lace ran from the front of my hair to the back of my head, and then around the 4 smaller braids. As I touched my hair with my hand, I turned to look at Princess Zelda and smiled at her. Thank you so much. I just love it. I cooed as she smiled back.
Oh, God! Okay, then.
As Princess Zelda looked me over, she said something was missing. After thinking for a bit, she turned and walked over to her vanity and opened up a small jewelry box. She picked something out of it, closed the jewelry box lid, and walked back over to me.
Taking my left hand, she held up my hand, beautiful bracelet around my wrist.
When are they gonna fuck?
We'll get to that, and it's super cringy, and you'll die a little inside.
I'm already dead.
You'll die a little inside. I'm not sure about him.
Looking at it, I could tell it was real expensive. The bracelet was a pure solid gold, as opposed to pure liquid gold. At the center was a Triforce charm. Diamonds lined the edges of the bracelet, and rubies lined the inner part. At the center of the Triforce charm was an emerald.
I looked back at Princess Zelda, and she smiled a kind of sad smile. It was my mother's, but I want you to have it, she said with a hint of sadness in her voice because she wanted that dick. A blank look crossed my face as I looked back down at the bracelet. I cannot accept this, I said as I held my wrist back out at her. Princess Zelda blinked in surprise. Nonsense. Mother would have wanted the same thing if she were here. Besides, I want you to have it. It looks beautiful on you. Take it. And that's an order. Impa nodded in agreement. Is it Impa?
Yep, Impa.
That's so fucking stupid.
That's the actual name, though.
And I smiled back. Thank you so much, I said as I hugged my friend, satisfied with how I looked when we got my bouquet, and headed towards the courtyard.
Zelda started turning into Filthy Frank there. God.
Oh, yeah, I was just really getting into it.
The wedding was
a pigeon right outside my window.
I smoke cigarettes.
There's a loud bustle as people tried to find their seats. Everyone in Hyrule had attended. Even all the sages had to attend.
Oh, they were forced
Zelda
to attend.
was forced, yeah.
Because no one else wanted to come.
My kingdom, you will come to this marriage whether you like it or not, or you shall scrub all the floors in Hyrule.
After you've scrubbed all the floors in Hyrule, and after you've scrubbed all the floors... Oh, God.
The king would settle for no less. All of Hyrule was going to witness Link and I being wed.
Oh, God.
As the crowd began to settle down, the king came to my side. Since he was like a father to me,
As you have repeated many times,
one who was going to be giving me away to Link. I started to get nervous again as the wedding music started to play.
Ganon was playing the pipe organ.
Even Ganon didn't want to scrub all the floors in Hyrule, so he's here too.
He's the organist.
Unfortunately, it's not the kind of organ I'd prefer right now. First,
What kind
the
of organ
flower
would you
girl
want?
went out. Probably her kidneys.
Hell yeah.
The heart's more metal.
Heart's overrated.
They taste good barbecued correctly.
As she spread the flower petals along the red carpet, she looked like a little angel. I hope that one day Link and I had children. We would have a girl as pretty as her for dinner. Then I watched as all my bridesmaids walked out one by one with the ushers. I didn't know any of them. They were brought in against their will. Next, I saw Link being walked out with Princess Zelda. He looked so handsome, dressed in prince clothes. More specifically, the musician prince. As he walked down the aisle, just bright purples. When he reached the altar and took his place, it was my turn to walk. Taking the king's arm, we began to walk down the aisle. As we walked, my eyes darted around the room. The nervousness rushed over me. Then my eyes landed on Link. I really should have put them back in my sockets. I could see his beautiful smile, but since I was nervous, I was glad Link could not see my face from under my veil.
Getting all soggy reading this.
Whoa.
In the right places.
I
Oh
need to
boy.
change pants.
Nope. Want to keep them on.
When we reached the altar, I took my place at Link's left. Zelda, my maid of honor, was to my left, and Darina, Link's best man, was to his right. Who's Darina?
Ow.
Before I fixed my eyes forward, I looked at Link from the corner. Man, how I loved him. Okay, why go to slaying now? Like, seriously.
Also, why is there a Christian wedding ceremony happening in Hyrule?
Then the preacher began to speak. I don't know. They have a weird religion there.
We have gathered here today to witness this man and woman being joined in a holy matrimony. This is a special time, a holy time, when a man and a woman come together and are joined under the witness of God. Link responded, "Oh fuck, I lost my place."
No. You're right. You're right here. May
your marriage.
No. You're still with the
I
pastor.
fucked up, guys.
Dude, it's fine. Just
No, it's not. Damn it. Damn it.
dude, it's cool. Reading shitty fan fiction.
Hyrule has
marriage
its own
bring-
pantheon.
May your marriage bring long likeness. Do you, Link, take this woman to be your wife? To love, to hold, to cherish in sickness and health until death do you part? Yes, I do. Link responded. And do you, Jenna, take this man to be your husband? To love, to hold, to have sex with, to cherish in sickness and health until death do you part? Yes. Yes, I do. I said softly. The rings, please. The preacher gestured for the ring bearer to bring over the rings. We were handed each other a ring and told to give each other our personal vows. Taking my left hand, Link slid the ring on my pussy. With this ring, I thee wed, said with passion. Then I took his left hand and slid the ring on his dick. With this ring, I thee wed, I said as I looked deeply into the bulge in his nipples.
Hyrule has its own pantheon. Why are they saying under the witness of God? They have 3 goddesses.
And she said, "Oh my goddess," earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, seriously.
She
I
responded
mean,
with the deep.
hey,
We
saying I
then,
believe it's your line.
I'm trying to. Oh boy. We then looked back at the preacher and he finished the ceremony. Damn. I can't compete with that last word. I can't. I'm sorry.
If there's anyone who thinks this man and woman
The woman should not be joined.
Let them speak now or forever hold their place.
peace.
Peace. Peace. After a moment of silence, the preacher spoke again. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce your husband and wife. You may now kiss the bride. Gently, Link lifted up my veil, and for a moment we stared deeply into each other's eyes. Then I closed my eyes as he gently took me into his arms and gently pressed his lips on mine.
Fuck yeah.
Ah. Then everyone started clapping as we made our marriage final. I felt a rush of happiness
Destination.
run through me. It felt warm, like the sun.
And his dick.
Sun was in fact collapsing into Hyrule.
Like the moon.
No, that
in
was the
one.
moon.
Close
No.
enough.
Majora's Mask didn't take place in Hyrule proper.
Oh yeah, Termina. There we go. Yeah.
Stages of death.
Yeah.
As we kissed, everything was silent. Only the sound of our heart together was heard. This was the happiest day of my
Jeez.
life. What is this episode?
I don't know.
Our first guest star episode.
Little fuck.
Next, I gestured for all my bridesmaids and my maid of honor to gather around behind me. The culling would begin shortly.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Then I turned my back and threw the bouquet over my shoulder. Everyone reached to grasp it, but it was Princess Zelda that caught it. She would be the first to die. I looked at her.
Fucking bitch.
I looked at her, and a smile crossed her rosy face as I winked. She would be the next to die.
Oh, shit.
To wed.
Whoops, shit. That was out loud. Then I looked at Link, smiled at him, and took his arm off of him. He led me towards the reception hall as everyone threw rose petals over us, hoping to
Okay,
bury
so-
us alive and kill me under the...
Okay. Quick.
So we could die together.
Quick question: if someone rips off their own arm and uses it, are they armed or disarmed?
It's a good question.
It's Schrodinger's arming.
Okay, I'll accept that. Okay, where were we?
Wedding reception.
Yeah,
Is it
the reception hall was set quite beautifully. There were flower displays, white dove symbols interlocked with the Triforce lining the walls, bloody knives. There were white candles lining the room, and a huge wedding cake sat in the center. There was
was
the head of
poisoned.
Ganon on top of it. As everyone filled into the room, Link and I went over to the cake and stood side by side behind it. The music begun to play. That's as Link and I took the knife and cut the cake. We
In Hyrule.
each took a piece and fed it to each other. He missed
know.
my mouth and got some on my face.
The next
In
thing,
Hyrule.
Hold on.
the next thing I knew, we had regret all over our faces. I mean, cake. And I giggled as I smeared some inside of his nose and through
God,
his throat. People laughed at the funny sight and smiled at Link as we started whipping the cake off of our face. Wiping. I thought it's
No, it's whipping.
Okay, whipping the cake. We were gonna whip something else later that night. I see Link. There were two goblets sitting by the cake and a bottle of champagne next to him. Ooh.
You know, in Hyrule.
Link popped the cork and poured the champagne into the goblets. He put the bottle down and we picked up the goblets, interlocked arms, and fucked.
Oh my god.
and drank from each other's cups. Everyone clapped and then made a toast to our marriage. May your life together bring happiness and new experiences, Zelda said. As she raised her goblet high. She's just like wants this bitch to be mad. Here, someone else yelled. Then the music changed into a dance. And everyone crowded onto the ballroom floor. Link led me by the hand and the crowd formed a circle around us, and we began the ritual to dance together.
The sacrifice will begin soon.
As I danced with Link, I felt like I was dancing on air, felt light as a feather. I got into the music. My thoughts drifted, and I began to flow in with Link's body. He took the lead, and I let myself go with the flow. As I looked into his beautiful dark blue eyes, there was passion flickering in them. Pause. His eyes made me melt in his arms. And as we danced together, I felt at peace. When we were done, I wonder how fat she is. When we were done dancing, it was time, because she was talking about being light as, it's like her insecurities are coming out. It was time for our wedding song to be played.
Oh, Jesus.
Bit of psychoanalyzing there.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's fat.
I bet she
Should we
is.
just
I
make
bet
her
you
fat?
$10 that she's a little bit above like the average weight.
All right,
At
maybe.
very
All right.
least, moderate chub.
Hey, I don't know.
Little weak bitch.
Link had found someone, right?
Yeah.
Link had found someone to sing our wedding song. Beautiful young red-headed girl named Malone from Lon Lon Ranch.
Oh,
was
yeah,
to
another
sing.
middle finger.
He needs some milk.
She got up on the platform and started to sing "Your Love Floats on the Wings of a Dove." Malone's voice was very beautiful. When she sung the song, it moved me. I moved close to Link and laid my head on his shoulder. He took his arm and put it around me as Malone continued to sing. The song was so moving that tears of happiness began to stream down my face and between
Steam.
my legs.
Steam down her face.
Oh my gosh.
Steam down my face. Oh,
She's so hot and bothered that
steam.
they're evaporating.
Gosh damn. That must hurt.
You ever been that aroused?
I mean, Link just had a doctor to arouse him.
Reading this.
I looked deeply into Link's deep blue eyes and whispered to him that he was my everything. My world. I saw love in his eyes, in his facial expressions. He brought my face closer to his and told me that I was his one true love, his first intimately, and his world. His passion made me feel good inside. Warmed my soul. I felt like the sky was the limit, and when I was with him, it felt like flying. Because he picked me up with much effort because I was kind of fat.
Oh my god.
Just a little fat. Bro, I thought you were reading that, bro. I thought that was your voice. This is so weird. That was crazy.
A ghost joins the party.
What's up, man?
There's a third person in here now.
We have a fifth guest star?
Boy.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yo.
Do you see the similarity? Isn't that crazy? Dude, I walked in the door and then I stopped because I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I have to goose in the system.
That was wild.
Oh, God. In the end, it was time for Link and I to leave for our honeymoon. He
Fuck
would
yeah.
not be returning. As we walked out of the castle to the awaiting rusty brown mare, the king and Zelda had one last gift to give. Zelda walked up to me. It took my hand, placed an ocarina in it, and closed my fingers around it. I want to give you this as my gift to you both. I looked at it and Link's face grew a surprised look.
Are you sure?
What?
Are you sure about that?
So spot on.
Sure. Link looked at her squarely. I know that these are the keys to the door of time, but I think that it would be safer with the both of you.
This
You
bitch
know.
is crazy.
Zelda just gave some fucking peasant woman the fucking ocarina of time.
You know, the thing that can turn back time?
Yep.
She goes back in time to stalk Link from his very date of birth.
Goes back in time and makes it to where any of her love rivals were never born.
She goes back to a time where she wasn't fat.
God damn it.
Zelda replied with a reassured look in her eyes. No, it wasn't really reassurance. It was fear.
It was definitely fear.
I looked at Link and I knew he was confused. This is what Ganondorf used in tricking me to open the door to the sacred realm. Link said as he remembered that day. He never forgot it.
Never ever.
I remembered what I was told, the stories of Ganondorf. But Link and I, holding the keys, might be safer. Thank you. We will take good care of it.
We will as a unit because we're together now.
I said as I hugged her and she smiled. Then the king hugged me, gave Link a pat on the back and a wink. I knew what he meant by that.
Oh.
Hey. We went to the horse that was waiting for us.
Link carried me to the saddle. The horse was Epona. There was a just married sign tied to the saddle over Epona's behind.
So I thought it was going to be like pinned to the ass of the horse.
Colored strings of yarn hung from the back of the saddle and from the bottom of the sign. Link lifted me up into the saddle, then mounted in front of me.
Oh
no! I threw my arms around his waist as he checked to see if I was ready. Then he gently booted Epona in the ribs.
Then he aggressively booted Epona in the ribs. He took off at high speed to get that pussy.
Oh my god. I could hear the king and Zelda saying goodbye, but soon their voices drifted into the distance. You know, I really hate this. But it's less painful with friends and Llytic.
I like it. I was touched by it in many ways, and I feel like I'm a better person now. I should write a book.
Before
You'd
you
probably
do
do
that,
better than this.
if you're so touched by it, read the next line. It's your turn.
Oh God.
Boy,
Forgot to
new
click
chapter.
next. After a long ride, we reached the Great Coast. The summer cabin the king had set up for us was along the ocean. Wow.
There's no ocean in Hyrule. It's like landlocked, and there's a lake.
Link pulled back on the reins,
It's romance, man.
and Epona came to a full stop. He held me down, dismounted himself,
Whoa.
and took Yapopa to the stable
Never seen
to fuck it. After we returned, sweaty and tired, he tried to pick me up, but collapsed because I was too fat and carried me over the threshold and inside. Once inside, my eyes grew as big as my stomach. The entire place was furnished. Candles were lit everywhere, and a table with a meal already prepared on it was set for two. 2 candles were lit in the center, and I wondered who could have made the food. Then I remembered I made the food. One of the sages left the How would she know that? How would she know that? Like, she was paying that close attention? Like, she didn't even know the sages.
Yeah, no, she was paying attention to Link, not the sages. You have a
She stalks
good
everyone.
The sage of water.
Rudo.
Agua.
Oh god, the useless goddess?
Yeah.
I looked around and saw a small letter on the table by the door. I opened it, and it was from Ruto. The letter said, Link was supposed to marry me, but I was blind to his happiness. As I watched him with you, I saw how happy he had become.
You know,
Now I
of course,
realized
one
what I
day.
had done was wrong. I could not hold Link to something he would not be happy with. I hope your life brings you both to happiness and peace you both desire.
She is so fat.
When you two have a firstborn, please come see me. If you survive this meal, that is. Wait, did I write that down?
Because it's poisoned.
Signed, Ruto the Water Sage.
Agua.
Water stick?
Agua the water sage.
Signed, Agua the Water Sage.
I closed the letter and held it closed. A tear trickled down my cheek as I thought of what Ruto had done for us. Link came up behind me and threw his arms around me. What is wrong, my love? Are you feeling okay?
Oh no.
His skin seemed to glow under the candlelight and his eyes were filled with love.
Fuck yeah.
I wiped my face and put the letter down. I'm fine. I'll be okay, I said as I softly placed my hand against his cheek and looked into his eyes. I'm glad to be here with you, I said softly.
And aggressively.
As I am. Link smiled.
As am I.
Oh, as am I.
Take me as I am.
Link's smile widened. He took my hand, led me to the table, which we then proceeded to fuck on top of.
Well, that's what it looks like. I sat down and Link pushed in my chair before seating him. As we ate, we talked about future plans and having a family, but I could tell his mind was not on the food. Oh no.
Fuck yes.
I took my foot and slowly brushed it up against his leg. As I rubbed his leg with my foot, he squirmed in his chair. Finally, he got up and came around behind me.
He lowered his head down by my neck, and I could feel his hot breath against my cheeks. I felt his lips move to my neck as he started to passionately kiss me on my neck. As he nibbled my neck, I let our soft moans. After a few minutes, Link took me by the hand.
Minuets.
Oh shit. A few minuets. Link took me by the hand, lifted me out of my. Look, she's like getting passionate. She's fucking up. That's why she's getting horny while she's writing this.
She's typing this one-handed.
Lifted me out of my chair and led me to my room, where the tub was filled with grease and cornflakes. He pressed his lips on mine, and we kissed deeply as he begun to remove my dress, exposing my naked fat body. As his hands started to caress my naked fat body, caress my naked fat breasts, I could feel myself getting hotter, like a pig in a pot. I wanted him. I wanted to feel him, touch him in way that he had never been touched. Oh, jeez. I felt his heart beating faster, felt his hands moving up and down my slender body. See, what did I tell y'all? Slender body? Okay. As he nibbled on my big old nibbles, a little by little, slowly started to remove his clothes, exposing his heavily naked body. I slowly reached up and placed my hands on his bare chest.
Not bear is in naked. Bear is in bear.
As I ran my fingertips down his chest, soft moans past his lips. His body was so muscular, so firm. The skin and silky to the touch. I ran my hands deeply down his body, first to his waist, then to his thighs, around his anal area, then to the swollen organ between his legs, which is a penis. When I grazed my hand over the head of the penis, Link let out small cries of pleasures. Oh, yeah. Then I looked into his eyes.
You're enjoying this a little too much, man.
Nah, he's
Absolutely
hitting the
not.
greatest level of enjoyment.
Well, that's done quickly.
Tonight, my love, I'm going to show you how much I love you.
So,
Damn, that was not Link. I got really excited. My bad. Anyways, let's redo that. Tonight, my love, I'm going to show you how much I love you.
Hey, princess, how about a kiss?
Oh no.
I went down and slowly took the head of his member into my mouth.
The head of his
Eating it
member?
with my tongue.
There's so many creative ways to say penis.
You think this one has some creative
The head of
ones?
his member. I'm going to start saying that. This is the head of my member. And he's trying to join something.
Oh boy.
Do you get what I'm saying? Do you understand?
Oh, I'm
trying
picking up
to
what you're
have
putting
sex
down.
with you, woman.
You're just not your life.
I'm sorry.
As I teased the head soft moans past Link's lips. Slowly I moved to his shaft, caressing it with my tongue as I licked up and down it.
Fuck
As
yeah.
I caressed
You know, I just
his
imagine
member.
Link letting out like the screaming noises he makes in the game. Set! See it! Set!
Remember what he always said.
Hey.
As I caressed his member with my lips and tongue.
Oh gosh.
Link's soft moans soon turns into cries of pleasure. Slowly I moved down the shaft, dragging my tongue as I went. Little by little I upped the movement, causing Link to cry out in ecstasy as I caused waves of pleasure to go surging through his body.
Into another wall.
We found ourselves on the wall again, my fat naked body jiggling as he slammed me against it.
She's fat.
That attention to detail seems like it'd be some DeviantArt fetish piece. Ooh.
Jeez.
Then I found a rhythm, and his breathing became faster as I started to take him over the edge. His heart started racing, his cries filled the room, and finally, when I took his nutsack and caressed it with my hand,
Fuck
it
yes.
was his undoing. Link let out an animal-like cry, probably the cat he still had strapped between his legs, as he
Oh my
his
god.
cheek, releasing his essence into my mouth.
Oh yeah.
I'm horrified.
This is so great. I'm having such a good time.
This is why I warned you. Don't worry. Llytic, your turn.
Yeah.
He
Sorry, just gotta
knows.
put my pants back on.
Wait, you wear pants?
I swallowed, licking up all the sweet juices off of his member. As I
Yes.
licked my lips, he brought his face close to mine.
Share that.
Our lips kissing each other passionately, the taste of
Ew.
him still on my lips.
He's
And now
tasting his
his.
own dick.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about.
Hell yeah!
I
As
hate all of you right now.
We do too.
As he deepened the kiss, I let out soft moans into his mouth. Then we broke off the kiss and I looked into his eyes. I'm ready for you now, my love, said as I started to kiss his neck. Slowly, I felt the heat between us grow stronger.
Wait, he came already though.
I mean, he could probably go twice in a row.
He can? Wow. That's
Although-
allowed.
Oh, God.
I mean, still, he's a bit of a one-pump chump, but...
But he fucked the horse too.
oh, right. That would mean it's 3 now. He should need at least like a 15. He
I
should
mean,
be
go
like-
for 10.
He should need like at least a
Go on.
15-minute break.
Go 10.
I felt myself wanting him. I felt my body calling out to feel him inside me. His eyes shone fire. The passion burned in them. He led me by the hand then, pulled me into the tub as the desire between us raged.
Oh no, they're gonna drown.
If only.
I wanted him even more now. I want to feel him inside me. Llytic, I'm gonna get you back for this.
Uh-huh. Have fun with that.
He moved closer to me, and I felt his throbbing member in my entrance.
Yeah, you do.
Then I begun to see as he slowly penetrated my enchanted body. Oh, okay, so she's actually fat, but she's got an enchantment that makes her thin. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, you should be. Slowly at first, then I cried out in pure bliss as Link upped his movements. As we made hot love, I felt his heart beating in unison with mine, felt the heat of his body against my body. Link felt so good inside me.
So good.
Sue.
So fucking good.
What named Sue?
Link felt
So-
so fucking good.
So warm, so tender. Then he pushed me up against the side of the tub as he put his hands underneath my body, lifting me up, allowing him to penetrate deeper. I wrapped my legs around his waist and groaned as I grabbed his back and dug my nails in, feeling the sweat beginning to form. As I dragged my hands down his back, I cried in ecstasy as he began to thrust deeper inside my now hot, sweaty form. Our bodies quivered as our movements begun to flow in unison, and I felt his heart beginning to beat faster as I forced my body up against his. Loud animal-like sounds passed his lips as his thrusts came in faster beats. Then I bucked against Link, and as I cried for him to take me. Link! Oh, my goddess is Link! I cried as I ran my hands down
Wait,
his
but they
back.
got married through God. But when she's moaning for sex, it's goddesses. It's not right.
It's because Christianity doesn't allow sex, man.
Do you know what it was? I think she literally copy pasted that off the internet, probably.
The marriage ceremony?
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Down over his buttock, dragging my nails as they went, I felt him starting to breath faster as he started to climax.
If she
And
doesn't
as the
insert
sheer-
a finger,
Oh,
Let's stop it!
wow.
And as the sheer ecstasy raced through our bodies, I didn't want it to end.
if she doesn't insert a finger,
I
I'm
wanted,
going to be very
I
disappointed.
wanted every part of him, even that elf dick. I wanted to drink in his body. He felt so good. So hot. The screen turned black. He was mine. Mine forever and ever and ever. I had him, had his body, his heavenly body. Sexual thoughts raced through my mind as we both came to a full climax. Link. I cried out in pure ecstasy as I gushed down his muscular legs. Jenna! Link screamed as he reached his peak and released his very essence inside me. I let out a loud moan as I felt the warm liquid slide down inside my beautiful fat ass body. It felt so good. I now had a part of him inside of me, a part of his very essence.
Jenna, could you let me out now? Link said as her vagina started to swallow his dick.
Oh god. Oh god, it turned into vaginal vor.
Yes.
Bad enough we had to explain to Tom what that was last week.
Little fuck in the building, y'all. Hello.
We both collapsed from exhaustions after Link delivered his second and final release.
Technically third if you count the one with Epona.
Breathing heavily, I looked deeply into his sexy blue eyes. Passion in them. Then I leaned over and pressed my lips on his, tasting the sweetness of him. So firm. So sweet. In slight longing, I moved my lips to his ear and whispered words of passion to him. Oh, my goddess, Link, I love you so much. I said between gaps of breath before I slowly started to caress his long, sexy, pointed ears with my lips and tongue.
About to say, you better give him some time to recharge. Jesus.
And I love you too, my sweet Link said as he embraced me. As I nibbled on the lobe of his ear, I could hear his soft moaning, felt his hands moving down my body. I felt the heat of his body, felt his skin against mine. So hot, so heavenly. His body, finally, for once, I felt complete. Felt like a woman. I felt sexy because I was a fat fuck. Wanted. We laid there still connected and covered in sweat. I laid my head against his chest and listened to the beating of his heart. We were both exhausted and breathing heavy. Then as my breathing started to slow, I felt my eyes beginning to drift. As I felt my last ounce of strength leave my body, I fell asleep.
Good night.
The next
I'm
morning,
going to go on a nice long walk and possibly cause a genocide just to clear my mind of this after this session.
Yeah,
I'm going to take a bathroom break.
The next morning, I awoke in bed lying on Link's chest while he stroked my hair. We talked a while before rising and getting up. After he got dressed, he went straight downstairs to cook breakfast as I went to freshen up. I washed my face and hands, then I went to the wardrobe closet to select a dress. I picked out a low-cut silk blue dress with a gold Hylian symbol on the lower part of the dress.
This is not a Triforce for once.
I put on my wedding ring, the bracelet Zelda gave me, which did have a Triforce, and fixed my hair. Then I went downstairs. Link greeted me at the bottom, and his eyes widened as he looked me over. He took me into his arms and kissed me. You look beautiful, my love.
Are you sure about that?
His eyes seemed to flicker with passion as he held me in his arms. He knew how to make me feel good with his dick. His words soft and gentle. He was the perfect man.
Except he's not a man, he's an elf.
I'm pretty sure that in The Legend of Zelda, they're not really elves. That's just how the people of Hyrule are.
I'm calling them elves because they're like
You're an
way
idiot.
too pretty to be. They're way too pretty to be humans. Like seriously.
Oh, so you're just insecure about your own appearances. Got it.
No, I'm just stating the facts.
Every time I hear Link's voice, I think of Ross's read-along Super Deluxe.
I think of like a hentai character that's a girl.
So you mean most of them?
Like that.
Okay.
I see.
I walked over to the dining table and glanced over all the food Link had prepared. I hope you're hungry, my sweet.
I was
Fat
hungry.
fuck.
He said as I nodded yes. Link pulled out my chair. I sat down and he pushed my chair in before himself. While we ate, we talked about the plans for the day. Since it was Since it was a beautiful day and the air, I thought going horseback riding would be the thing to do. But then I remembered one thing. There was only one horse, Epona.
Proto Roadhead.
Okay, then a look of disappointment crossed my face. I had really wanted to go horseback. Then Link had an idea.
Right,
Epona is strong enough to hold us both. She carried us both here. You could just sit behind me and put your arms around my waist, Link said as smile. Link said as smile widened and I felt better.
As smile widened.
After breakfast, and then second breakfast.
Oh, now she's a hobbit.
Link went to the saddle. Went to saddle Yopa, Epona, Yopa the yoke. While I did he's fucking the horse again. while I did the dishes. When I finished, Link poked his head threw the horse in the door and said he was ready. I removed my apron, put on my big girl boots, and followed Link out the door, panting. Yopa the yoke was in front, saddled and ready to go. The rusty brown mare was a truly beautiful horse, way more beautiful than me. I walked up to her and patted her on the head. She gently put her muscle near my face to show no fear and that she was really getting the dick.
Horses
I looked
tend
at
to
her.
offer shellfish.
She was the most beautiful horse I've ever seen.
Oh boy. Link took my hand and helped me into the saddle. Then he mounted in front of me. I put my arms around his waist and he checked to see if I was ready. Then he booted. Yep. What are you? Whatever the fuck. Horse number 1 in the ribs, and she took off at a gallop. We rode down to the ocean along the beach. Water cooked up behind horse number 1's legs as we rode along the water's edge. The ocean air smelled sweet like his dick, and the breeze was cool, also like his dick. I
Is he
looked
dead?
over Link's shoulder to see what lay ahead. The beach was vast and wide. Rocky cliffs lined the water further down. Small caves with water flowing into them lined a small island far in the distance. Then I turned and looked over the vast ocean and saw small islands lining the horizon. This was truly a beautiful place. So peaceful, so serene. It almost made me feel like murdering someone because I could probably get away with it.
Then we arrived at a small alcove, and Link stopped horse number 1. He dismounted, then helped me down. This is a real beautiful spot. Let's just sit here a while, Link said as his blue eyes shone in the sunlight. After we sat down in the sand, I laid my head on Link's shoulder as he put his arm around me. I watched as distant seagulls flew over the ocean in search of food. The cool breeze through my hair as the salt air
I am
tingled
now
my
bald.
senses. I felt at peace here. Here, there were no wolfos to chase off. No thieves. No duties. No nothing. That is what the wolves in Legend of Zelda are called.
Yeah, and the skeletons are called Stalfos. Moving on.
Wolfos.
Wolfos. The predecessor to doggos.
Yifos.
No.
Yes. But then I knew that soon it would all be over, and everyone would be dead as I laid my plans to rest. And we would have to return to Hyrule.
Yeah, well, hold on a sec. Hey. All right. Sorry, interruption. Lots of things going on today. Okay. Don't worry about that, I thought to myself. You're here with the man you love, your new husband. Enjoy it with him. Don't be a fool.
Are these
Then I got up
multiple
and ran
voices?
towards the ocean like a fool.
Oh no. Don't worry, she's fat enough. She'll float.
Walking into the
God.
water, I turned and giggled at Link. Then I gestured for him to follow. Leery, he came to the ocean's edge, and then I splashed water on him. He looked at me sideways before he splashed water back at me.
Don't splash me, you fat bitch.
No sooner had that started, we were running around in the water, splashing each other and laughing like little kids. Give me a sec.
The suspense is killing me.
I know. Will they fuck again? I have no idea.
Find
Watch
out next time.
On
Mouth.
Dragon Ball Z. Last time on Dragon Ball Z, Jenna and
my
Link
aunt-
fucked.
Dude, my aunt just came in and heard you say that,
Come
so...
Oh god.
That's pretty cool. Does your aunt want to read a line too?
Splashing each other and laughing with little kids. We played all day, just like we were kids again. I was having the best time of my life. When it started to get dark, we went back up to the beach and sat down in the sand to watch the sunset. I cuddled into Link's arms and laid my head against his chest as the sun's golden rays slowly started to set below the horizon.
Cringe is real.
It
Yes.
totally is. It totally is. Your line, man.
Oh, where is it?
My life.
My life with Link will be a happy and special one.
My life with Link will be a happy and special one. He is all I need. Soon, we will have a family, and my life will truly be complete because I don't want a job. As I thought to myself, my eyes slowly crossed. And as the sun's last rays disappeared over the horizon, I closed my eyes because I didn't want Link to see my crossed eyes.
I'm so confused right now. Wait, no.
Back in the cottage, I was bathing while Link prepared the evening meal because he was my food bitch. After a bit, Link came upstairs to check on me. I came to see if you need any help bathing, getting under those huge fat rolls. He said. As I looked into his eyes, I took my hand and slowly ran it from the top of my shoulder and down over my breast. I could use my back washed, I said seductively. Link being disappointed he didn't get to touch the boob right away. Taking the hint, Link took the wash rat and began to wash my back. After a minute, because he's an impatient fuck, he put the rag down in the water and began to passionately kiss my neck. Moaning softly, I turned my head to face him and gently pressed my lips on his, kissing him deeply, our tongues meeting like two French girls. What? No. That's not a joke. That was a mishap. They Frenched. That's what I meant. Our tongues meeting. They were French. As we kissed, I could feel his hands were moving down my naked body. He didn't have permission because he was still washing my back.
Gently, he lifted me out of the tub and led me to the bed while we kissed.
Oh, no.
Oh, dude, I get the last line. That's so dope.
Softly, he laid me down and climbed on top of me.
Here we go again.
I could feel his body quivering as he moved my lips and down on my body. Then he spread my legs and went down. I felt his lips on my thigh as he slowly kissed inward. Then, when he reached the center, he pressed his mouth onto my flower. I felt as he slowly inserted his tongue in the lips, causing me to cry out in pure bliss. Then he moved up until his tongue brushed against my clit.
Clitoris.
Yep. Working his teeth and tongue on my clit. Don't bite it! What the fuck? Just like you're not supposed to use teeth on the dick, you don't use teeth on the clit.
I mean, different strokes for different folks, I guess.
I guess she's into pain games. Shocks of pure ecstasy were sent cursing through me, causing my legs to shudder. Never had I felt such feelings. Never had I experienced such pleasure as he teased my clit. I felt his tongue move down until it was at my entrance. Slowly he inserted his tongue. Wasn't he already there?
He had to move
He
his
was a member. And this was the entrance.
Or are we saying that his tongue is so long that it's gone all the way to the entrance to her uterus?
Yes.
Indeed. It seems
I did
so.
not need that image.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
I did.
Slowly, he inserted his tongue in my back arced as I cried out in pure bliss.
Getting the taser out again, I guess.
Put that piggy down.
Then slowly Link upped his moves, sending momentary shocks through my lower organs. As my legs convulsed, as his tongue moved deeper inside me, I grabbed the back of his head as I begun to climax. Whoops.
Yeah.
Then when he hit the right spot, I arced my back and screamed in ecstasy as I gushed into his mouth. Nice.
Painting from the intense experiences because I got a new acrylic set as a wedding gift. I got up and looked into his eyes and knew what. Slowly, I removed his clothes and
Wait,
opened
they were in the
myself.
bath. What? Did
No,
he
no,
get
they
the
moved
bath?
to the bed.
Okay, good.
Also, I'm pretty sure she already opened herself to him.
Yeah, I let him take control, allowed him to fulfill himself. Long into the nothing but hot passion.
The last few days, we either spend down at the beach or taking peaceful walks because I can't run because I'm fat. Together. I knew we only had a small amount of time left, but I spent every minute. Hello. Yes. Enjoying it. And on the day we were returning to Hyrule, I couldn't wait to get back. Upon our arrival at the castle, the king and Princess Zelda were at the gates to greet us and ask us how the sex was.
Oh, God.
Well-
All right, we're going to end it there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nope. I'm going on a killing spree to just.
Little fuck.
Yeah,
Can I just dissolve back into the void?
go for it.
Little fuck.
It was fun not existing.
If you do that, it means you lose.
Well, I'm Llytic.
I'm Tom.
I'm Zane.
I'm little fuck from Kansas.
Yep.
And
Thanks
I
for
guess-
Yellow
watching.
Brick Road. Thank you for tuning in.
See you next time. If you
Yep.
ever want to come back to this, because Jesus.
We'll see.
See ya.
Stop.
See ya.